and welcome to NUFC Talk Pod. Hope you are well. Hope you've enjoyed another Mighty Mags win over the weekend. It's becoming a regular habit now, mate, isn't it?
Too easy, mate. It's too easy at the minute.
Too easy. If you're wondering why it might sound slightly different this week, we had a bit of a technical issue, so we've had a quick swap of the mic, so if it's not the usual standard of sound, we do apologise. But let's get into the social medias and then let's get into the week of Newcastle United, mate. So, if you can get us on TikTok, Twitter and Instagram by just searching NUFC Talk Pod, you'll find us on there. If you want to get me on Twitter, it's Glenn1N_NUFC.
Yeah, it's NUFC. You're currently viral, aren't you? You're currently...
Yes, I had to find some time between replying to all the thousands of tweeters and guys on Twitter. Yeah. So it was actually after the game, I'd put a tweet out where Trippier ran over to Lascelles. So I think the tweet was something along the lines of Lascelles comes on for Shah and Trippier runs over and puts the armband on Lascelles. I love this fucking club. Hashtag NUFC, and it just went to the millions.
It lit, did it?
Yeah, it did. So went up by about another 100 followers on Twitter, so I was excited about
Decent.
that one. So a weekend of going viral, mate.
Yeah, man.
But before we get into it, can you please make sure you're subscribing, ring the bell, and if you get us on Spotify or Apple Pods also, make sure you're subscribing and please leave us a 5-star review. How was your holiday been, mate?
It was good, yeah, it was nice. Nice bit of time away. Lots of walks on the beach and on the rock pool and stuff. Like looking for hermit crabs and stuff like that.
Nice wind down.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was really nice. I was super chilled, super quiet, and just a nice bit of time really just to relax. And then back over the weekend, pumpkin carving and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, wholesome week actually.
Wholesome week of family stuff.
Yeah, and obviously always feels better when you pump somebody 4-0.
Yeah, wonder where you've gone that way.
Different pod that like.
Yeah, just thinking ahead to this time next week, man. Because we were booked in for the C-section on Monday. So at one point we thought it was touch and go midweek, like.
Right.
I'm just getting some funny feelings and like, whoa, could be an early appearance, but no, she's still hanging on in there. So
yeah,
we'll have to figure out what we're gonna do for the pod for them ones. We'll have to bring in a substitution.
Yeah.
But anyway, should we get into the game, mate?
Let's do it.
Okay, so starting 11, we had Pope and Sticks, back 4 as Trippier, Shah, Botman, Burn. Midfield 3 was Longstaff, Bruno, and Joe Linton and Willock. Did they switch over a few times today?
Yeah, I think they were pretty fluid.
Mm-hmm. And then Miggy
during the game.
and Wilson finished us up top. So
He loves an unchanged team, doesn't he? He really does love not changing a winning side.
does everybody not love that though?
No, Pep fucking benching Foden, furious.
I know.
But yeah, he more than most he doesn't like to tinker too much, does he?
Mm-hmm.
He seems like he'll run the risk of maybe overloading players slightly to play them again, rather than run the risk of sort of like trimming the momentum or pulling the momentum back by changing the side.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he very rarely changes the winning side. Even like little things like super jumping ahead. Like Maxi didn't come on until super late in the game, which
he makes people work to get back in the squad, doesn't he? Even look like Shelby's minutes, a couple of minutes at Everton, and then Tottenham. And he had, I think it was 8 minutes today. So
and he said before the he said in his pre-match presser, he was asked about how much Shelby will be involved, like how big of a player he'll be in these next 3 games. Obviously, meaning Villa, Southampton, and Chelsea. And he said, "Yeah, be a huge player for us." And he played like 5 minutes, didn't he?
But he's never going to say that.
Yeah, but he could have. He could. What I mean, by he could have said, he's getting back to fitness. He will see if we can go and get out of him, that kind of thing. But he said, like, I thought Shelby would be involved a bit more. I thought it might seem for like half an hour or something. But
do you reckon?
Yeah, I thought he would have.
He's never been one for making early subs though.
He hasn't. Yeah, that's fair.
Like he's thinking back to, we flick back through all the different pages we've got here, and I always feel like more subs happen after 70, 75 minutes. The Murphy one happened at 59 actually, but apart from that, I can't think of any early subs.
But yeah, any surprises in the starting lineup?
No, not really. I think we're all starting to understand, as long as it's not broken or unless there's a massive fixture pile up, then how is just going to try and stick with what's tried and tested. Even if Max is on the bench, it's probably also showing paving the way for Isak to, when he comes back, to say, look, you're not going to be walking straight back in the starting 11. You've got to earn your spot.
Yeah, and the whole Burn and Trippier balance is like that. I was kind of questioning 2 or 3 games ago. I couldn't really understand why Target wasn't getting back in the side, even though Burn was doing a solid job and looked defensively sound, and obviously he's a threat and he's good in our box defending corners, that kind of thing. Because he is genuinely, he's tall, but he's also like super commanding in the air, isn't he? As well as being tall. But yeah, the balance he gives up with Trippier and being able to push on forward and be really high and wide is class.
Yeah. Well, the game kicked off, and I think the first note I've got, well, not I think, I know the first note. The first note I've got is the Wilson header.
Yeah, the one over the bar, yeah.
What we're getting down that right-hand side now with Miggy, Trippier, and Bruno, like the passes that he puts over the top.
He loves that little thing, doesn't he, Bruno?
Them 3 rotating is, we know what's happening. Defences probably know what's happening. But it's also like, remember last year when Man City had that pull back
every time,
like 2 or 3 times per game. It's, you know what's happening, you just can't stop yourself, like, oh no, I've got to chase that man, but I know I'm leaving that gap there. It's almost the same with them 3 now, like when Miggy gives the ball or Trippier gives the ball, you know Bruno's going to put it over the top. It's
I doubt the coaches like the old fashioned way of defence and attack. I reckon they do plays like in the little 3s or 4s, whatever. And like it's all because they're understand. I've got a little Trippier and Miggy and a smiley face next to it.
It's a love hearts for the eyes.
It was, yeah. I was looking at one of the pumpkins I'd carved. Anyway, so yeah, like they understand, and how better they have got is just together. They very rarely put a foot wrong. I think Miggy like sort of popped the ball off the Trippier and it ran out of play, or vice versa, and they were like, no, I think it was Miggy to Trippier and his touch to let him down or whatever, and he put his hand up to apologise. I'm like, I was trying to think back when I saw that, when the last time they didn't connect well, and I was like, that's the first time I read like one of them messing up when they're knocking the ball out together. They look so good together. And also probably Longstaff as well. When he gets into there quite a lot as well, in that little sort of area of the pitch if it's not Bruno.
The little pocket.
That's space is pocket, isn't it? I forgot about that. Yeah, that's what I was looking for, pocket of space. Yeah, but it's a tough chance for Wilson. Not much you can do with that. He's put it behind him, but.
Then we had 12th minute. They actually had a bit of a break where Pope had to come out and take it from, was it Ings or Brendan, where he went through and he came out and took it under his feet. Probably the only bit of action Pope got called into, really, wasn't it?
To be fair, Villa probably played a blinder first half an hour, really. They didn't play particularly well, but actually really ignored Newcastle. I think the first sort of it was similar to the. It felt similar to the Everton game that I was at when it was like the first like 10-15 minutes was quite frantic and Newcastle couldn't really get on the ball and keep the ball, and then they settled into the game, the rhythm and everything else. But what Everton didn't do was probably like sort of take the sting out of the game, whereas Villa, they were like, I mean, I thought Martinez was blagging, to be fair, like. Because I was kind of watching the game, but wasn't really great. I was watching it on, and I saw back in the highlights, like, oh, he doesn't have to take. Obviously, when he went off, I realised he wasn't blagging, but he doesn't have to take a shot at the head. Like,
well, yeah, it's probably like a temple shot, isn't it? Yeah, doesn't have to get that one lathered.
But they were anytime they wanted to play, anytime someone went down, they were milking it, and they just sort of it seemed to take the sting out of the game, and it felt like the atmosphere got a bit sort of flat. I don't know if you noticed that. Like,
yeah, it's in the notes for the first half, bar some injuries. There's not really much talking about. But at 45 minutes, I put there was no foothold. The ground seemed a little bit frustrated.
Yeah.
And then it was 10 minutes injury time because of Brenda, the Villa Buendia.
Emi Buendia, yeah.
I'm trying to get my words up there.
Buendia.
Because he clashed with Byrne, so he went down in between Martinez going down the first time.
That was it. Time. Yeah.
So from 20 to 30 minutes, there wasn't really much happened.
Anything, yeah. I thought my stream was down. There was a few things. There was the Dan Byrne tackle that happened. Was that just after Martinez or I can't? But
yeah, because that was actually at the clash.
That's that was what a tackle that is, by the way, because I think he Leon Bailey sort of somehow rolls around and gets past Shah and pulls it back, and it's like it's a tapping, I think, in it for not a tapping, but it's just an open net in it.
Yeah, but just
Byrne flies back like
because one thing I've noticed as well is when we get up top here, put our bodies back from that point there. We attack with obviously the 4-3-3 formation where we've got the midfielders that are backing up and there's always some edge of the box, and that's what created that Everton goal. But when we are defending as well, the work rate of people getting back to defend, and I know Dan Byrne is a defender, but the way they say put your body on the line as if it's like football's going to kill you, but the way like they all dive in and it's just that extra team spirit where everyone's just absolutely flogging the nuts off to get back for the breakdowns and just being that extra body when you need someone there to on the overlap, whatever. It's class to actually see, isn't it?
Yeah, it's everything. You're right. It's like the overlaps. It's like wanting to be the person that puts their foot in. It's like challenging for the throw in. It's like it's every little thing is properly like crafted for. Do you know what it is? Is like echoes of Liverpool. Do you know Liverpool and then they're just like constant pressure they had for the last like couple of years? I know they're kind of burning out now and maybe they haven't been flogged to death.
They've pressed for 3 years straight, twice a week.
Aye, they're absolutely pagging up. You think Bielsa's lads got it bad? Try on 3 years with a Klopp. But there's and also they play like 70 games a season.
Yeah.
One Salah and Mane get their boots on again. But there's echoes of that, isn't there? Do you think there's echoes of how they would just blow teams away in periods of games where they'd just be all over you and they turn over the ball. I think it's like the similarities in Newcastle and how it sets us up. With like the midfield three doing an absolute mountain of graft. Similar to what like the Clayton Klopp's midfield threes have in the past.
Work rate's class. So yeah, after 45 minutes and my notes of there's no foothold and no one got into the game and the goal needed a game. The game needed a goal even. Penalty came. I think it was a Stonewall. Do you agree with that one?
Yeah.
I know we had a discussion of hands unnatural and
it's how his his arm is and stuff. Yeah. It's really hard, isn't it, though, to like how you'd explain why I think that's a definite penalty when I think others are like I'm not really sure with that one because to people it's the same challenge, but that I'm like that's Stonewall for me.
And then Wilson steps up, puts it straight down the middle. Then the camera pans to Gareth Southgate smiling.
Yeah.
And I think was he sat next to Amanda?
Was he? I didn't notice.
Southgate was sat next to Amanda and her husband, and that you kept seeing them like leaning over and talking to him every time like Wilson scored or doing something.
Probably saying, "Don't take that, Wilson. Don't take Wilson. He's made a glass."
So yeah, that made it 1-0, and then Wilson actually scored a second one, but that one was offside. Took that one really well.
That was the through ball from Willock.
Yeah,
took it on the keeper.
Took it around Olsen, and I actually thought he took a touch too many, but he knows what he's doing.
Callum Wilson. I was super surprised he went on the goalkeeper. I don't remember seeing him ever go on the keeper.
No, I always thought he was a person that would commit and make a shot, but
especially to go to the left as well.
I put himself on his weaker foot.
Yeah, because people always go on to the strong foot, don't they? So yeah, but just confidently.
Second half kicks off in 45 to 50. There wasn't much happening, so it was a quiet start of the second half. And then Shah went on one of his little adventures again.
Yeah.
But this adventure was a bit more long term. He stayed up top for a few minutes because if I remember right, he didn't get a shot off, but the ball worked its way wide. And I was looking to the box to see who was there, and I was like, "Who's that stood next to Wilson?" Like fucking Shaz just stopped up top. And they actually got a slight break off it. And then I think Trippier put the ball on. But yeah, it's mad the confidence that the team have, isn't it?
I guess that's the benefit of having a third centre half playing.
Mm-hmm.
But Dan Burn just tucks around and then he goes to 2 centre half, sat back in. So he loves it. We maraud up top, doesn't he, though?
Yeah.
Old Fab.
53 minutes. This is where Mings shoved Miggy into the sideboard.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. He tried to make something of it, but he didn't like push when Miggy goes down and touches the sideboard and he comes back up holding his head.
Smiling though.
Yeah, of course. The bit that was funny, like the ball boy like proper appeal straight for the referee. He's like, don't fans out, like he's shouting, "Oh, fucking ref." So getting even like the ball boys or girls are like getting so into the game now. It's class.
By the way, Young and Mings got a torrid time, like, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Wilson give Mings the absolute run. If you're Gareth Southgate, you're looking at Tyrone Mings being your left-sided centre because he's left foot as well, isn't he? Yeah,
I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm sure he used to play left of Harry Maguire when he's played for England in the back three. He's always played the left hand side. I'm sure he's left footed. Or you look at Dan Burn. There's absolutely no comparison between them. Like Dan Burn is like absolutely leagues ahead. Like yeah, like he got absolute torrid time and Ashley Young, he didn't know whether to come go like.
Oh yeah, he was thinking I should have fucking retired this.
He was yeah, should have stayed at United or just retired then. But yeah, the pair of them got a torrid time. But
then we had Joe Linton made 2 massive turnovers, interceptions, break up play, and it just goes back to his work ethic. He's just an absolute monster on the ball. We had Bruno to Miggy again. The little dink over the top.
I loves that, like, doesn't he?
And this was where Miggy tried to head it across and Mings came in, put the ball out. And that was from that corner is where we got the second goal from.
Right, okay.
That goal doesn't happen unless you got Joe Linton battling in the middle of the field. And it goes back to what you said, like the lads in the middle get through so much work which leads to these great opportunities. And I know everything leads to something else, but that should have been Villa moving forward because Joe Linton's worked his absolute socks off to turn the ball over and give it off to Bruno. It just shows how a great team, which we'll actually say and mean it now, when all the parts link together, it creates all these extra chances. It sounds simple, but like...
Oh, the cause and effect and all that sort of stuff. Like, we don't score that second goal if Big Joe doesn't put his foot in. But it's also... it's creating a bigger question, and probably jumping ahead, but what do you do with Maxi? Because like he doesn't do all the same graft, and what playing Joe Linton wide allows us to have, it does allow Joe Willock to get forward from midfield. Joe Linton will tuck in where he needs to. Big Joe will do way more defensive work from out wide.
Well, I think at this point Willock had gone more into like the left wing position. And Joe was tucking in a bit more at the start of the half. But it was weird how they did just interchange like throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
Because even on my notes, I've got like arrows because I couldn't decide like who was playing where. Then we had another corner from the training ground.
Yeah, a belt of that, like, wasn't it?
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, it's Trippier gives it to Miggy, and Miggy looks like he's going to do is take it out to the box and try and pull it in off his left, but he flicks it back to Trippier. Because if you watch Trippier's run, Trippier fades and then goes back to the byline because he has to time that run spot on. Miggy back heels it to him, and then Trippier just dinks up and Wilson at the back post of all people. Yeah.
He's better than he gets credit for, really.
Yeah.
Decent header. Good class goal, though. Absolute, like, one from the training ground.
So that was 56, went in straight into 58 where goal number 3 came along. And this was actually off the back of Villa trying to press us.
Yeah.
And when I was watching it 2 or 3 times, I was like, just fucking clear it. Just clear it.
I know.
But they played themselves out of it.
And Trippier tried a little Cruyff turn on the edge of the box, didn't he? Which gets forgetting about because we got away with it and we scored. But I was like, oof, that's a bit much of that. But I think it comes with the territory. If you're going to play it from the back, there's going to be some times where you're going to be a bit, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it is. Like, and the more confident you get in their ability as players, the less you'll feel like, ooh. It's true, isn't it? Because I was so ingrained to be like, just shift it, man.
But you're right though. As a Newcastle fan for how many years, like if you have the ball at your own 18-yard boxes, just hit it long and hope Maxi was fast enough to catch it.
Yeah, yeah.
Or Wilson.
And don't get up the pitch. Just stay there.
Yeah,
just stay deep and get rid of the ball.
That's it. Yeah, stay deep. Hopefully Maxi pulls off like a wonder solo goal. Wilson's not injured and gets to the end of a cross.
But it was actually a really nice play because it went into Bruno in the middle, who I think played it into Willock, I think, and then he travels with it, and then it goes.
He puts it through to Joe Linton.
Yeah.
Joe Linton pulls it back to Wilson, who has a shot with his left foot.
If anything, the only thing is Willock doesn't put enough weight. The pass idea is lovely, just not enough weight on the pass, so it shorts.
Who was the defender? Because he should have dealt with that. Like,
it'll be
Konza?
It'll be Konza because it's Cash, Konza, Mings, and Young that played for the back.
Yeah, because the pass wasn't perfect. Joe Linton shouldn't have been getting towards
it was under hit, wasn't it?
Yeah. So he managed to get it squared off to Wilson, who has a shot with his left foot.
No, I think Konza gets his foot in. I don't think Joe Linton squares it.
Oh, is it?
I think it's Konza gets his foot in because the pass is a bit short, but gets his foot in, just literally tees up Wilson, who obviously hits it left footed first time.
And Big Joe follows in.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it's offside.
Yeah.
When I first saw it.
Did you see the replay? Oh, not the replay. The camera went to Eddie Howe, and he wasn't celebrating.
Was he not?
I think he was waiting for the check.
I do love watching Big Joe celebrate though.
He screaming at the ball boy, didn't he?
Yeah, but we're terrified.
When you see Joe interviews with him off the pitch, he's such a nice, like, soft-spoken guy. But on the pitch, he just turns into this absolute animal, which is what you want from your box-to-box battling centre midfielder. Slash winger, yeah. But he screams as poor ball boys, and he's kid doesn't know what to do.
I was roaring at him. Yeah, it was brilliant.
The next part, on the 64th minute, you've got Mings is bringing the ball out, and then we see a class Joe smash.
I missed that.
Joe Linton comes in, proper smashes him, and in the background you see Callum Wilson clapping, cheering, smiling. Joe Linton gets booked for and gets a yellow card. I think Wilson's like, that's class. I've been getting kicked off him for 60 minutes and we had a Joe smash.
He didn't have much look like Tyrone Mings.
That yellow card does mean that Joe Linton's suspended for Southampton.
Oh yeah, I do remember that actually, yeah.
Yeah, big Joe smash.
So that's probably the Maxi debate.
Yeah.
Done with it, if he'll play it or Murphy.
I'm going to say or Murphy, yeah.
Yeah, he looked really good when he came on again, didn't he?
Yeah, because you could still... Anyway, we'll get into that.
I think after that, is it the Miggy goal?
The Miggy, yeah. I know we said this last week, and if you're regular listeners, you'll know that we went to pre-season, like we saw Miggy getting better from July, whenever it was, when it all started, and he was leading goal scorer in the summer. And then he works his nuts off, and all of a sudden it's 6 from 6. And last week we were even saying, like, we still expect Miggy just to turn shit. And can we say now he's actually...
I think we can,
Yeah.
I think he's turned into the player that we expected we'd signed, or we turned the player that we had for that, like, half season when it was the three amigos.
Yeah.
Rondon Perez and Almiron. Mm-hmm. Because he actually looked like a player then. I just think about if it hadn't taken like 30 games to score his first goal when he tried to lob the keeper in his debut, if he scored that, he probably would have with 50 Premier League goals by now. He just hit the post and that was it. Confidence went. But yeah, I think we're getting the player that we expected to sign. What a goal that is, by the way. I've looked a few times. I think it must hit a deflection the way it spins, but like I can't really see the deflection, so I'm like just giving it at me like.
Oh yeah, But the confidence from to hit it like that, and I still think of Miggy kicking the ball. And he didn't.
Weak as piss.
But the fact he's
like a back pass usually, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the fact he's scoring all these like screamers from outside the box is unreal. It's not like just a one-off fluke which just happened to catch you right and it's like pinged in. Like he's looking to curl balls in. Like it's crazy.
It's worldie. But if you saw his Atlanta highlights, there was loads of them. He's scoring free kicks and all sorts, like 30 yards. And I was like, he's got a decent highlights reel. Well, everyone has.
Yeah.
Rami Cabella had. But yeah, brilliant goal. I think Wilson sells him short of the pass, like, which makes his mind up. I don't think Wilson means to feed him so he can take 2 touches and put it in the top bin.
Right.
I think Wilson just sells him a bit short, doesn't put enough weight on the pass.
Wilson's on a hat trick. He's probably meant to put him down the line, pull it back from me.
Yeah. But yeah, it was what a goal! Like it's brilliant, absolutely class, and it genuinely couldn't happen a nicer bloke.
Yeah, isn't it mad that because he's got to be in line for player of the month now, wasn't he?
He's got 6 goals in October, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He's got 6 goals in October. Who else is good?
Haaland. He's the only man that's scored more goals than Miggy this month.
Has he got more than 6 in October?
He scored like back-to-back hat-tricks and stuff, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, he'll probably win it, wouldn't he? Yeah, but he should be getting back-to-back hat-tricks.
Playing for Man City.
Yeah. I mean, as good as Longstaff was yesterday, he's need De Bruyne.
That's it, yeah. Mental, absolutely mental. 75th minute, Wilson off the bar from a Murphy
this was lush. This is proper. I love watching a centre forward just getting up and beating somebody there and proper does. I mean, that is shit from Mings. Like,
because Mings should be winning them headers all day long.
Yeah, Mings must have about 3 or 4 inches on him. Like, because I know Wilson's probably not short, but he's not a tall guy. Like, he must be about probably he's not 6 foot. I wouldn't think, but Mings is quite tall, isn't he? Like,
yeah. You see him as like I know all centre halves normally have a bit higher than him, but he looks like
he must be 6'3" something like that. Like, yeah, he just gets nowhere near that. He's on his heels, isn't he? Mm-hmm. And Wilson proper attacks it, put on net muscles. Yeah, it's class.
You see the frustration of Wilson, like wanting that hat trick so badly.
Yeah, because he was asking. I think he mustn't have seen what happened to it because he was asking. Do you see the replays? And he's asking somebody, was it off the bar?
Oh, right.
So he's like, devastated about it. But
so at this point here, we started making our substitutions. So we had Target came on 71 minutes for Botman. We had Murphy come on 71 minutes for Willock, obviously to set up that cross there we spoke about. We had Lascelles came on for Shah, which is obviously when Trippier ran over and put the armband on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just talk about that for a second. That just shows you the team spirit, the camaraderie, the respect, everything that we want as a club in one gesture.
Aye.
That was almost like it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like Trippier, like it's like an example thing. Like it's almost sort of like not hierarchical, but it's kind of that way to say like I'm only standing skipper, you're still a skipper. Do you know what I mean? And everyone from the outside is like Trippier's a captain.
Yeah,
but he's got to lead by example by showing the respect to the cells. So yeah, I loved it. Class, great little gesture.
In my tweet, which you mentioned before, there's lots of like little conversations sprung off, and I was having to read through them. And a lot of people are talking about like Lascelles, like he's had a bad couple of seasons, but prior to that, he had a good season in the Prem. He helped us obviously get back up to the Prem, and like when a lot of people were abandoning ship, he kind of stood strong, and he did have a couple of really good seasons for.
There was some England chat, wasn't there?
Yeah.
There was a bit of England chat. I was one of those. There was a couple of seasons. Was his first under Rafa was very, very good.
Was that the season before we got relegated?
No. We it'll have been the one back up after. Yeah. So it'll be because Rafa came in with 9 games to go, and then we went down.
Yeah.
Then he played in the championship, and then he came back up.
But there was whispers, wasn't there? Would he get an England shout?
Yeah, but no, he's always worked hard. He's like limited, isn't he? Mm-hmm. But certainly since like this season, he's never really let Newcastle down really.
And again, I know on the pod sometimes we've got stuck under him a little
Hammered
bit.
him, mate.
Yeah, but fair play to him. He never once said a bad word. He always comes on super professional, and that just sums up the club. Trippier went over, giving him the armband, absolutely class. We had our last subs was Maxi came on. Sorry, Shelby came on for Bruno in 81, same time as Lascelles. So we actually got 6 subs here, didn't we?
Did we?
Yeah. So because Martinez went off
For the
concussion,
yeah,
we got the 6th substitution. So in 85 minutes, we had Miggy went off for Maxi, and Wilson came off for Wood. And Wood actually had that chance.
Yeah.
I know it's not shown on Match of the Day, so if you I haven't seen all the extended highlights from Newcastle yet, watch the game, but that I know Wood goes with his left foot, but them goals, like, you've got to be fucking scoring them.
Just get a knee on it. Your
Go
hip,
his head.
it's just whatever. But the play, by the way, Murphy has it in like right hand side, just in front of the halfway line, and he looks like he's going to lose it, but then he like sort of checks and puts it through someone's legs.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Shelby, maybe Longstaff, at least Longstaff, I think it is, that goes into Joe Linton, who then plays a back heel on the run for Murphy. I think who maybe no, that's for Longstaff, who puts the ball in.
Mm-hmm.
Longstaff whips it in. Yeah, Wood scores that. You're screaming because it would be an absolute belter the way they play.
Very good team goal, yeah.
Really good team goal because the way they play out that little triangle, the little back heel from Joe Linton is quality. You've missed out the Murphy off the post. Yeah, he made an impact when he came on again. That's all you want from him. Like, we're not expecting you to pull up trees. We know you're not Maxi. Like, we know
if he can come on 75, 80th minutes and be that, like, just tin of Red Bull that the team needs just to.
He does, like, doesn't he?
Get him going for the last 10, 15 minutes.
He comes in, he puts a shift in, doesn't he? He loves a long chase of the goalkeeper. Oh, Murphy, he lives for it, doesn't he?
But yeah, if that's your only job, though, it's like, look, you got to play on fast forward for the last 10 minutes of the game, and that's it. Because that's the only time presses calm down, isn't it? When everyone's blown. Because you just think when Villa's want this game to be over, because that game was dead and buried by the 3rd goal winning at 58.
Yeah.
And then you see Murphy coming on at 71. Then you see Maxi coming on at 85.
Yeah. Legs and yeah.
But Villa were actually really lucky. If you think there was a goal offside, Wilson hit the bar twice. Was it go over his first header to start the game?
Over the bar.
Over the bar.
He hit the bar
Hit
once,
the bar.
yeah.
Murphy hit the post.
Yeah.
Could have been even uglier for Villa.
Yeah, they were really poor, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. And I was going into the game expecting Villa to put up a much tougher battle because they know, like, Emery's coming in. I was also relieved that Emery wasn't taken over till after the game, so they don't get that, like, new manager.
Did he? Didn't fancy it. Shake bag.
I especially have to turn one down, like, his first game at St James's Park.
Yeah, he'd be getting that off. Oh, Meridad.
Yeah, when we're on a roll, he's probably look at the fixture like, I'll start Monday.
I kind of start a new job on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely no way I'll have my first game at St James's Park when they're, like you say, tearing up trees, like, fucking no chance. Let them go up there, get absolutely paggered, then
I'll be the hero.
Yeah.
Aye, but they were really poor. So they battered Brentford 4-0.
Yeah.
So that I mean, to be fair, the caretaker manager has got zero goal difference. 3 points in the bag.
Yeah,
not bad.
Averaging 1.5 a game. That's
better than Gerrard.
Yeah, mid-table form, isn't it?
I give him the job. Yeah, I just thought they were really poor. I thought they didn't really look up for the fight, and they've.
But sorry, I didn't get my point. I was expecting them to be up for the fight to impress the new manager. Sorry, what were you?
I just think it's similar to it screams of like the Bruce under the Newcastle under Bruce turning good players into shy players like overnight. John McGinn's not a bad player. Like,
I like John McGinn.
Yeah, he's good. Like,
when we did the other pod, and I know this is going back over a year now. You know, when United were missing a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
Like, he could have done a job for them, but now he's a bench warmer.
But he was captain, wasn't he? He made him captain and couldn't get a game. Tyrone Mings isn't a bad. I don't think Tyrone Mings is a bad player. I think
Gerrard literally just kicked him in the nuts and said, like,
Are you saying
Didn't he?
literally? You mean figuratively? Not actually, literally.
oh yeah, see, I mean, like with his what you do with his confidence, like it's just like disrespectful. Took the armband off him, stuck him on the bench. That Carlos did his was it ACL or something? And then
Achilles, I think, isn't
Achilles.
it? Aye.
Then had to go back to Mings and say, "Sorry, mate, about the start 11 role."
Because he said to him, he said something like, and I was listening to another podcast on this a few weeks back. The bizarre thing about what he said about him, he said, when Tyrone Mings looks me in the eye and tells me he's ready to play again, then he'll get a game. But he said that kind of unprovoked to the media. It wasn't like they didn't press him, or like, come on, tell us more about the Mings situation. It was just like, yeah, played all right today. And if Tyrone Mings looks me in the eye, you'll play again. It was just like,
Do you think it was like him trying to use some psychology and he just completely backfired?
yeah, you should have just kicked him in the nuts. They've got a lot of good players. Like arguably their squad's a better squad than Newcastle squad. Like maybe not a starting lineup because I wouldn't really take many of their starting lineup. A few players would you'd probably look at, but certainly squad depth wise, there were loads more depth than Newcastle have in terms of what they can bring off the bench.
But then through Eddie Howe's coaching, Newcastle players are now better. Because I think I was listening, was it Talksport, one of the podcasts I was listening to this week, and they were saying that Gerrard as a coach hasn't improved anybody.
Well, yeah.
So if you think like Eddie Howe and Gerrard were kind of always compared against each other, they were both saying projects moving forward and English homegrown managers and all this jazz. But if you look like a year on, what Howe's done to people like Joe Linton, where he did the craft before he got injured, Miggy, Murphy as of late, like all the different players that we spoke about, even like Longstaff.
Yeah, he looked good again yesterday.
Like,
yeah.
what he's done coaching wise versus like what's Gerrard done.
Well, that's the point I was making. That's what I think it screams of Newcastle's Bruce, like good players going backwards. The sign Danny Ings, and I thought that's a brilliant sign. That he'll get 15 plus goals a season. He's as long as he can stay fit. He's been fit, but he's just like Watkins. Watkins has regressed. He hasn't scored in 4 years.
Watkins doesn't look like a winger to me.
Well,
I know that he hasn't played there all the time, but so was it Saturday? He was playing out on the wing.
yeah. Well, they've tried him 4-4-2 and stuff with Ings and that, I think. But yeah, it's strange because he was very good on Dean Smith in terms of his personal output. And obviously had Jack Grealish and stuff there on that side. But yeah, that's why I said it. There are similarities between sort of the Newcastle Bruce era where like good players getting worse, but he's not a coach. Eddie Howe's a coach.
Yeah.
Steven Gerrard's a manager. He doesn't take the coaching. He lets his coaches take the coaching.
Does he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So maybe that's part of it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's just there. Go on, lads. Take a run around again.
He's just there shouting at Tyrone Mings.
Anyway, that's enough of Villa.
Yeah, but that's enough of Villa. But we can look ahead to our next game, mate.
Yeah.
Southampton.
I feel somehow this has become a big game.
In what way?
Well, in the way that if we've got behind closed doors aspirations of top 4/top 6, I think this is suddenly a massive game because if you win this, Chelsea won't fancy coming to St James's ahead of the break, and if you can get something in that game, you're going in. We're going into the World Cup fourth, and with momentum and with players coming back.
The World Cup's probably happening at a bad time for us, isn't it?
Yes, I know. Like we're going to get more time with Maxi to properly make sure his hamstring is fine, so he should be ready to go. Isak will be back. John Shelby up to speed. Full stop. That's the end of the positives. So,
Wait, you mentioned like more time with the players there. There was a Pep interview which I sent you the caption from.
Oh yeah.
Where Pep had said Newcastle are really should be taken seriously for the top 4 because they aren't competing in Europe. so they don't have obviously the midweek and then the weekend games back to back, which happens a lot when you play in Europe. And this is where obviously Pep and the managers look compared to sometimes maybe we don't. We just think, oh, players get tired, you have to have a rest, you travel. He said the time that you get on the training pitch.
Yeah.
So Eddie Howe will get however many days a week they train, coaching his players, working on formations, setting up for the game on Saturday, and that's the only thing they've got to look for.
Yeah.
Whereas these other teams are, right, Monday, get in, assess the players, Tuesday, travel, Wednesday, go and play in Europe, Thursday, travel back, rest day, Friday, come in, quick prep, Saturday, and off you go again.
Yeah. And very few of our players will be used to that rhythm. All the Man City players now, whether they're part of that Man City for the last 5 years or whether they're coming wherever they're coming from, very rarely are they not playing in Europe already. So they're used to that grind, they're used to that short impact and taking a lot of information on board in a short period of time, whereas Newcastle used to, well, not used to, some of them used to 2 training sessions a week.
Yeah.
but now they're used to detailed focus of, I mean, how much time we spend on set plays, for Christ's sake?
Yeah.
That'll go out the window. They'll be lumping at the back stick to big Mike Williamson in no time. An old Pardew's tactic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a really fair point. You see it all the time. You see it with the clubs that don't invest a huge amount after they get in Europe. Like West Ham have sort of struggled a bit.
Leicester.
Burnley, Leicester. When Burnley got into Europe, like even Newcastle when we got into Europe. Yeah, we got relegated next season, didn't we? Mm-hmm. So and that was with a lack of investment in the squad and couldn't really cope when playing on 2 fronts. But so that is a fair point. That, but the reason I think it's a big game is because like it's a really winnable game. It's a pressure on. We should be winning this game. 17th in the league.
And they've won 3 games, and there's a lot of pressure on Hasselhout at the moment, isn't there? Southampton don't seem to have much of an identity at the moment. Do you know what I mean? When people think of Southampton, like hopefully Ward-Prowse will bang in a free kick and.
Yeah, they used to be really. I haven't really seen them much of them this season because I think they've been awful. So they're on 5 minutes at match of the day, the end of the and a match of the day. So, but they used to be in the Hasselhout quite a pressing side. Like they used to really press quite high. But I said it before. I don't think he's in any danger of getting sacked if they're not in the bottom 3 and looking like they're going down, because they sell every single season. They sell the best players every season. Like they rarely hang on to players for a couple of seasons. Like they've hung on to James Ward-Prowse probably because does anybody really want to pay like 60 million or 50 million for James Ward-Prowse? Probably not. Doesn't command the game enough to do that.
Yeah, he's. Imagine a club like Chelsea. You know when they go and buy a class player and just let him rot for 3 years on the bench.
Ross Barkley, Scott Parker, like a random English international just gets bought and ruined.
Do you remember they bought Drinkwater as well?
Oh, hi. Is he still there?
Still on the bench. It's just like a skeleton.
Maybe they thought it was Bringwater.
Yeah.
So I think he actually left, didn't he, at the end of last season? That was his contract up. He's devastated, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Probably getting 140 grand a week to sit there and do nothing. Anyway, but yeah, so I think there is a big game for us because there's pressure on us that it's the media hype is really starting now.
Yeah.
You play, well, obviously battered Villa, but before that, on Sky, against Spurs, like top 4 rival and all that, or European rival, whatever you want to say about it. Mm-hmm. And then to pump them, that started the media circus, like really like the media fire.
Yeah. The fact that game happened on the Sunday, like the main game as well, like there was a lot more talk about it. It was like the weeks before when we battered Fulham and Brentford, we scored like 9 goals, and I don't think anyone thought it was much of like it's just Fulham and Brentford, that can happen from time to time. But like you said, the Tottenham one, 4:30 kickoff on a Sunday, like that's probably one of the most watched games of the week.
Yeah, absolutely, and also the expectation level. So it's obviously gone up because of those games that we just mentioned, but also Southampton's position. This is a game that Newcastle now should be winning, and this whereas if you think previously, Spurs before that, we've really got not no right, but it's a difficult place to go and get like a win away for what they're unbeaten 10 or something or whatever.
With the all wins as well, weren't they?
Well, that's it, yeah. So even Everton, although Everton weren't playing great, they weren't conceding very many goals. They were difficult to beat, all that kind of thing. So the last couple of games where we've had momentum, it's not exactly been... Even Villa bounced back, just battered somebody 4-0. New manager bounced and all that. It's not as if it was a foregone conclusion that Newcastle should win this game, whereas everyone will be saying, 3 points for Newcastle. So it's a different element of pressure.
Well, I'll continue and say I'm worried then. Just to level it out, I'll say I'm worried about Southampton.
I think we'll win. I do. I think it'll be a really good performance again. I just feel like it's a big game. I was looking at they haven't really. So the last 10 games, they've only conceded more than twice in those last 10 games, which is quite interesting for a team that we 17th in the league, and that was 2 against Everton, we got beat 2-1, and 4 against City, which anyone conceded 4 against City. So yeah, they've only conceded 1 or not conceded, and so they don't concede a huge amount of goals. So
So starting 11 and prediction.
Well, Big Joe's a miss for a start.
So what do you think he'll do then?
I think if Shelvey could start, I'd like to see him start, but I don't know if he's going to get wrist, hamstring injury. So
I think he'll go with these fit players, the ones that's performing, and
I think it might be Murphy.
Yeah, I was thinking that. He'll start off with... I don't think he'll change the back four. Go for Longstaff, Bruno, Willock in the middle. Then up top, Miggy, Wilson and Murphy.
I think Miggy, Wilson, ASM is more likely than Shelvey.
Shelvey, yeah, I agree.
Shelvey, I think, comes off the bench, maybe probably gets 30 minutes or something like it. But yeah, I think I expect him to go Murphy. And probably, for the first time, you probably say it, you couldn't really grumble at that. He's gone for the bench and had 2 really good impacts.
Isn't that mad that we're even having this conversation, mate?
When literally 4 weeks ago, we were saying he's the only player that's just got worse under Eddie Howe. So Eddie, Eddie listens, doesn't he? So he's obviously listened to the podcast. Thought, wait, someone's got worse.
Yeah,
I'll sort that out. One-on-one sessions every day.
But that 70-minute substitution where Willock normally comes off, that's where we could see Shelvey just to start building these minutes up a little bit more. And then
we free up Bruno and say, honey, go, pal.
That's it, yeah.
There's a bit more space in the game, hopefully by that point.
Did you see all the chatter this week about Bruno said that Chelsea's inquired, Liverpool's inquired, Real Madrid and Barcelona? But should just paper talk that.
He's a football player, so Barcelona have obviously inquired because they inquire about everyone, don't they?
Yeah.
Real Madrid thing, I think it's such an easy leak that to be like, how should we sell it? Yeah, just see out Real Madrid are interested. Is he playing well? Yeah, Real interested. It's always the same. I think it's because that's the one team that you think could pull from anybody. It used to be Barca, but they're like shit houses at the minute. So
yeah, but Chelsea and Liverpool being linked, there's fucking no chance.
No,
that we're selling them to
the graphics are doing that fucking Liverpool midfield. You've seen them all. They've aged. They were 14 years and 3 months. I've never seen. I mean, that is literally the Klopp flogging them at the ground, isn't it?
Yeah.
Funny, actually. Total side note.
It's Liverpool.
Yeah, that is funny. But side note is, I don't think they should have spent so much money on replacing Marnie in terms of Nunez. They should have signed a midfielder. Easy to see in hindsight, right? But the fact I got Curtis Jones and Harvey Elt's a good player. I think he could be a really good player. But
I liked him. I thought he was more of a winger, but he seems to be playing a lot in midfield.
Yeah, I think he can play wide right or centre mid. But yeah, it's mad. And they're every time I watch them, it's so bizarre. They're so open. Leeds were waltzing through them.
I know, Leeds.
It was great. It was actually great. I love watching it.
I was watching it with my father-in-law, the Liverpool Leeds game, and he's obviously a Newcastle fan as well. And when Leeds scored, we both just jumped up and cheered. It's the first time I've ever celebrated a Leeds goal. And it was funny. He was celebrating, and so we both like, get in. And then one of the lads who was in our WhatsApp group, he said, texted off his first time ever celebrated Leeds goal. I'm like, so does.
Yeah, keep them below us, But anyway, Bruno going, you're doing some graffiti going that midfield, son. And there's so much uncertainty at Chelsea now. Like you don't know how much they're going to invest, and so yeah, I can't see him leaving Newcastle for any Premier League. He's not going to go to City because City don't need another tiny yet skillful midfielder. They've got enough of them. Like
so he just fall under the mould, doesn't he?
He does fall under the mould. To be fair, like that Gundogan replacement. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe see De Bruyne's free kick the idea.
Yeah, it was ridiculous,
isn't it? He's outrageous. But yeah, so that's, I think, starting there, I think you're probably nailed on there, with maybe the only change being enforced one of Murphy coming in, I think. And that's because, I know it's not changing a winning team, but you've got to give him a bit. He's come off the bench, a couple of games, made an impact. Scored the idea, didn't he? Who did he score against?
Was it Fulham he scored against?
Was it? Not long ago, was it?
Murphy.
Aye. Yeah. Felt like it was like only recently. But prediction.
Was it Brentford? Anyway, he's got one.
It was Brentford, wasn't it? Because it was he pressed, and then it was Wilson pulled it back. And
because the keeper was having a nightmare, wasn't he? And that centre half.
Pinnock,
yeah.
I don't know what you're saying. What are you saying for prediction?
Well, I'm still going to start by saying I'm worried just to get that net.
It's a good omen that at the minute.
It is, yeah. That's it. Well, yes. If anyone who's a new listener thinking, right, what the fuck am I worried about Southampton away for? When Newcastle had only won one game of the season, it was the game where I said I was worried for, would Forest like have it's the first game in the Prem for 20 years, and then I went on a streak of saying I was confident. We drew and lost one. Well, we drew about 5 games, lost one, and in the next game I was worried for, we won, and then ever since then I've just kept that as you said, the omen of that position, and I'm going to continue to say that I'm worried about the game. But secretly, I think we should beat them 2-0.
Yeah, I think, maybe 2-0, 3-0. They don't score a huge amount of goals. They don't concede a huge amount, or at least haven't recently. But yeah, they lack any real quality, don't they? Really, like they're all sort of neat and tidy Premier League players like Armstrong and obviously James Ward-Prowse and.
Because I had a look at the start. I had a look at the starting 11 before we did the pod, and you look at the team. There's no one that really should scare you. But like a free kick or a set piece with James Ward-Prowse, Shea Adams, like, should you be worried about him?
You think Botman's just gonna like?
Who was the guy that got from Glasgow again? Rangers, who scored in the final? Arobi.
Oh yeah. He started, didn't he? He started with them at the weekend.
I think should
Armstrong as well. They've got him, haven't they?
So there's not like
Adam Armstrong, and then they've got Stuart Armstrong. Yeah.
Yeah. So you look at that team on paper and think we should. I'm worried, but we still should do a job.
I think they're probably just they're probably actually worse than they are. Actually, I actually think Hassan was a decent manager. To be fair, like I think they've got a really really average squad. Like
they got relegated this year. I wouldn't be surprised.
Nah, the squad's like properly average. Look at Nottingham Forest squad. Look at Nottingham Forest squad versus
which one?
The new one, the old one. They've got about 50 players, haven't they? Look,
madness.
What they've got roster? Is it a roster in the NFL? Yeah, the league's apart. Like, they've got a small squad as well. Like so, but yeah, there is.
So what are you saying?
Yeah, I think 2-3-0. I think. I
think the fact that we've got Wilson on a run wanting to get into the World Cup, that's massive. Seeing him hungry.
Yeah.
The stats for him as well. Back night should be on the plane. Like his goals per minute.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Second to Harry Kane. His conversion rate as well was higher than all the other strikers who were
comfortably
in the conversation. Well, Rashford scoring today, that's probably guaranteed him a spot on there, hasn't it?
Good goal as well, by the way.
I haven't seen that yet.
Like a Ronaldo-esque header, like flat, steaming in.
Oh, yeah?
He's steaming at the back post and like sticking his bonds on it, yeah.
No, he'll definitely be going there, so. Got a few minutes, mate. FPL.
Yeah.
So Haaland being injured,
Yeah.
and it looks like he might be off for next week as well. Listening to, not me personally talking to Pep, but listening to the Pep talk. So what's your FPL doing at the moment?
Well, I thought he was going to be out, but on the gamble that he might start, I captained him, but I vice captained Harry Kane, who got a booking and did nothing else. So I've got my 2 points to I doubled up 1 point for Harry Kane. But I took my first -4 hit this week.
How'd that go?
So I took out Bobby Firmino. I only brought him in for one game on a gamble against Forest. And I was humming and hawing whether I bring Wilson or Jesus in. But I took a -4 hit because I wanted Mount out, because again I brought him back when no one was playing.
Yeah.
So I took Mount out. The problem is it's harder to replace a midfielder with somebody who's on a roll and who's got goals in them at like 7 million. So I brought Miggy into midfield, which means I couldn't bring Wilson up top. So I had to bring I was toying between Jesus and Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted Wilson, but I already have Pope and Trippier, so I could only bring one of them in. So I brought Miggy in midfield, who got 12 points.
Not bad shout.
So not bad shout. And Jesus got 2 assists today. It's not the 19-point haul of Wilson, but all in all, I think that's the first, because I've only done one -4 this season after that. I think that's the first -4 I've done in about, I don't know, maybe certainly obviously this season, but also maybe a lot of last season that's actually come off. Because if you think where you get -4 hit, they've both got to do both got to either score or assist to be worth your while, and then the players you've taken out have got a blank, and Mount did nothing and Bobby did nothing.
So you're alright
there. So I was probably up by about like a 12-point swing on my -4, which is the first time in a while that's actually happened. So I was quite happy.
Well, my week was a bit better than last week, which couldn't really get any worse because I had 35 points on the bench.
Yeah.
Took a -4 hit to get Foden in.
I didn't start, did he?
And he didn't start again this week. This week was a little bit better. So
so you're still -2 points on Foden, aren't you?
yeah. So I started Haaland, given the armband, by Trippier as my vice captain.
Oh, did you? Decent. Yes. Oh, because he got
11.
Yeah, good.
So I get another 11 for him. I already had Wilson.
Oh, so you got Trippier as your vice captain. You have a big week this week, aren't you?
Yeah.
And must be like 90 points, something like that.
Mid-80s, because I got Trossard was my first sub.
And I saw that 7 points off your bench as well.
So he'll come in for Haaland as well. So yeah, decent week. The substitute I made this week though, I brought in Saka for Maddison.
You brought in Saka for Maddison?
Yeah.
Saka just went off injured.
I know.
50 minutes.
But he assisted before he went off.
I did that.
So you got 4 points.
Yeah.
And Maddison only would have had 2 anyway. So I tried to take the positive. Means we've got subbing back off.
You got to transfer straight out.
But you've only got to look at the season as the next two weeks, haven't you? Because in the World Cup you have free transfers. So
I know, yeah.
You don't have to worry too much. You've got a couple of injuries, stick them on the bench.
I wanted Wilson in as well. That's the thing. Like, I might be dropping Pope. I've had Pope in for Yonks as well. Because you can't drop Trippier. It's a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. But
I don't know. I have no idea where I'm going this week yet. I haven't decided.
I know. Yeah, this week I haven't done anything yet. But it's no. Yeah, you might as well do something, because next week is your last one and it's free hit again. Oh, it's wild card.
Have some fun and take some gambles, because you only got 2 weeks left.
I've realised my team is stacked full of. I've got 3 City players, 3 Newcastle players, and 3 Arsenal players.
Same.
So I've got 9 players from just 3 clubs, and the rest, like, I've got Harry Kane. I think. So this was my other thinking as well, because I took Miggy in for my midfield, that I freed up some cash. I could do another -4, which is rogue. I could go Kane to Salah, depending on who Liverpool have got. Even though Liverpool are honking, he's just gonna. I've got a feeling he's gonna go on one of these little runs where he just keeps scoring. I mean, his goal was like shite as well the other day, like against Leeds, but he just scored again. I don't know who they got, Liverpool.
No idea off the top of my head. Tottenham.
Oh, yeah. Nah, I'm keeping Kane for that, because that's got Kane on the break all over it.
Yeah, it has. Anyway, we'll wrap this up. Cheers for downloading. Thanks for subscribing. Please make sure you share the pod. Enjoy the week, and we'll have another 3 points to talk about in a week's time.
Hopefully, mate.
If baby hasn't come along.